All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite WMMA podcast. Hashtag CB99 Talks. This is episode 158. Of course, I'm Combo Breaker 99. And yes, this episode is pre-recorded, but hey, feel free to stick around in the chat like y'all usually do, talking junk and all of that. Y'all can still chime in. I'll still go back and read the comments every now and then. Not always, but for the most part, I will try to catch up with some of y'all in these lives when I just go back and play it out for background noise on my behalf. But yeah, man, we back with another one, y'all. One reason I am doing this one pre-recorded is because I'm trying to be disciplined. A while back, I used to do this show like every Tuesday around 7, and I'm trying to get back to that now. I had a lot of things going on, of course, in life. So now, I want to try to get back on just getting on here so y'all know when I'm on live, just so all my subscribers don't be wondering, is he gonna be on live today or tomorrow? So now that I got a little bit of time here and there, little gaps, I can pre-record one and put it out on Tuesday for y'all at 7:30. Then the following week, I can usually jump on live with y'all. So yeah, so stay tuned now from here on. I will be back on live every Tuesday at 7:30 as long as everything works out the way it's supposed to. So yeah, just remember I said I ain't make no promises, but for right now, that's the set schedule for the show. All right. And of course, I'll jump on live sporadically whenever too as well. But if y'all want to catch this show where we just go in and talk about fights and I'm giving y'all updates, here it is. Tuesday at 7:30. So hey, y'all pray for me so I make sure I can stay on this dedicated schedule. All right. All right, y'all. So yeah, man, I'm back with this one, y'all. Had a pretty good weekend. I stayed pretty busy. The fights, a lot of fights to watch. Boxing, UFC Fight Night. There was Cage Fury, which I got to talk about in this one. There was a wild fight, man, in Cage Fury for the women. So y'all gotta stay tuned to some of these LFA and Cage Fury fights because that's where our highlight knockout reels is coming from for WMMA right now. So had a lot of stuff to watch. I was busy this weekend taking care of business, of course. Did a little 5K this past Sunday as well. Still trying to stay on my workout regimen like always. And I want to kind of tie into one of the topics here with that because I've been using I've been using the strategy of what I'm going to talk about too in this one topic. So yeah, I'm already kind of on that side with it. But yeah, this episode we're going to talk about this past weekend's fights here and there. Of course, the UFC Fight Nights, women's fights, the Cage Fury highlight fight. Definitely got to discuss that. This ain't gonna be too long of an episode, so we want to talk about those fights. And I want to discuss Dakota Ditcheva along with Tyler Santos, Jenna Bishop, Liz Carmouche. And specifically, Dakota, we're going to be putting the spotlight on her. No hate. We ain't trying to hate. All right. I just want to know what are Dakota's chances of winning this tournament. And I want to know yours as well. I'm going to give you my thoughts on how big of a chance she has of winning this whole thing, winning the million. All right. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. And also Manon. We're going to talk about Manon. We're going to talk about Manon Fior being at the ready right now because even though she's not scheduled or penciled in as of now as a stand-in for Grasso Shevchenko, I'll say the Grasso fight. Like if Shevchenko pulls out or whatever happens, Manon, she's staying at the ready. So we got to talk about that. And Valentina, like I said, this is going to tie into my workout regimen. Valentina, the no water policy. All right, because I know some people have been uproar about this. I hear a lot of casual fans, going in on her. So I want to talk about the no water policy just a little bit. So yeah, just a few things we're going to discuss, about 4 or 5 topics here. We're going to stay on too long because there's no WMMA fights this weekend coming up either. All right, so I just wanted to go ahead and get this one on lock. But yeah, this weekend was good. A lot of fights. I had the iPhone going, had the laptop going, had the TV going. A lot of boxing going on. Had the Tank Frank Martin fight, which I'll probably cover on the other channel. Matias, some of y'all aren't familiar with that boxer, junior welterweight boxer, I believe lost his belt this weekend, but y'all know Tank Davis, big knockout for him, 8th round knockout over Frank Martin. I had that on lock. I knew Tank was going to catch up to him. Tank is just too dangerous. Tank Davis is not just a boxer, but not just a puncher, but he's a thinker, a boxer. He sets traps. He's dangerous, man. He's not some type of one-dimensional puncher. This guy has heavy hands, and he knows how to use them. And he knows how to play the mental game, too. So Tank Davis, he's a threat in boxing, man. For y'all boxing fans, like U6, James Prez, Easy E, y'all that tuned into that, Marcus, y'all know what I'm talking about. All right. So I was watching those. I was watching UFC Fight Night. And Friday though, man. Friday. Got to pull this up for y'all, man. Friday, Cage Fury FC. We're going to kick off highlight knockout of the week right off top. If y'all aren't familiar with Autumn Norton, this is her right here. She's fought in Invicta FC. She's an upcoming bantamweight prospect. This girl, she's rugged. She's tough. One of my favorite fighters to watch now. I've hit her a few times on IG just to let her know. I've chatted with her. Probably need to get her on the show one day, get in an interview, just to kind of put some light on her because Autumn Norton, she's coming. This is a bantamweight that's coming. Not going to say UFC ready right away, but this girl is something. And this past Friday, Cage Fury FC, she was taking on Evelyn Martins, who's a known, solid BJJ practitioner. A lot of people are in favor for her because, she was young, 20 years old, bigger, about like 3 inches taller than Autumn Norton. Just all around big bantamweight too, strong on the ground, really good grappler. She's only 2-0, so she really wasn't tested. But if you go back and look at her ground game, and just in her BJJ work, you'll see that she could have been a threat. But Autumn Norton said, hey, we ain't taking it there. 10-second knockout. 10-second knockout to win the CFFC bantamweight belt. That's all I can say. Ain't nothing else to say. I mean, this girl, she went in here. These two went in here. I mean, they went in head to head. I believe Evelyn Martins did land a good leg kick. Just kind of took Autumn Norton off balance. And Autumn Norton bounced back up, blocked the right hand from Evelyn Martins, landed one of her own, only one, the one you see right here on the jaw. And I mean, you could hear the punch. I might have to put the little clip up here, as long as they don't ding me, I might have to sneak it in real quick as a short video, or I might have to slow it down or edit it so y'all can see it. But this right here might be this is definitely a candidate for knockout of the year now for WMMA. I mean, that last one we had like a few weeks ago, the head kick, that could be head kick, but this got to be punch, knockout by punch. It's got to be knockout by punch, KO of the year. Because this right hand landed, this girl was out. I mean, she was stiff, arm stretched out. She was out. Autumn Norton, girl got a right hand on her, and they've been working. I've been watching them train. Her and her trainers, they've been working on that boxing, her strength and conditioning. She's got that explosiveness. So, yeah, shout out to Autumn Norton. Check this fight out, y'all. I mean, this segment we talking right now is longer than the actual fight. So you can actually play it back. I'm looking at it right now. I done played it back several times today. And I was like, man, this girl's got some power. Seen a few of her fights. I know she came up short in one of her Invicta fights, but, she did get a stoppage a little while back against another fighter I like from Serbia, I believe. She's based out of Canada. Can't remember her name right now. My bad, but I can't remember her full name right now. But yeah, Autumn Norton's on the come up. This girl's on the come up. She's on the rise. I believe she's 4-2 now. And now that she's got this belt, I'd like to see her go over to LFA or go back to Invicta FC and maybe challenge the winner of Toledo Bernardo versus Olga Rubin. That'd be a good fight. Or, if Tanisha 10 is still over there, maybe they could make that fight in Invicta FC. So, yeah, this girl definitely has the goods as far as still got work to do, of course, got to step it up with experience through these other organizations. But Autumn Norton definitely has the goods as far as marketing, I think. Like, she's rugged, she talks, she fights, she's got the confidence. I mean, when she scored this knockout, you should have seen a little walk off. Like, she ain't even go in for no ground and pound trying to be savage like that. That one punch was enough savage for her. I mean, she landed it. Girl was stretched out. She walked off like, all right, what's next? Like, what time's dinner? You know, she just walked off kind of like that, you know, and I respect that in the fighter. So yeah, Autumn Norton, this girl, I can see big things coming as long as, you know, she works on defense and keeps on building, you know, as far as takedown defense and becoming a well-rounded fighter. But as long as she has that game changer, that equalizer in her right hand, won't have to worry about it. But yeah, check that fight out, y'all. It's on UFC Fight Pass, CFFC. I believe it's 132. It's the most recent one. Hold on, I can make sure for y'all, just so y'all know what I'm talking about. Or, you know, like I said, they're probably gonna post this highlight reel on their YouTube channel. But yeah, go to UFC Fight Pass, CFFC 132. Check out this 10-second knockout over Emily Martins, man. It was, whoo, yeah. That's what we need more of in WMMA. Quick ones like that. All right. So yeah, yeah. After that fight, you know, there was that wasn't the main event. There was a main event that it was a men's fight, but got a chance to check out a lot of boxing this weekend. Like I said, watched the Tank fight, watched the Matias fight. There's some other fights. Marcus kept hitting me up about Gary Antoine Russell. I'm like, oh, okay, not Gary Russell, but Gary Antoine Russell's brother. And I believe he lost this weekend. I missed that fight, though, Marcus. I got to go back and check that one out. But yeah, going to the UFC Fight Night card, we had two good women's fights. Let me pull those up here for y'all. We had Josephine Knudsen, they call her. Josephine Knudsen versus Julia Polastri, and Gabriela Fernandes and Carly Judice. And I wasn't too sure on either of these picks. I knew there were going to be some competitive fights, but when y'all asked me, I settled in. I said, okay, got to go with Josephine Knudsen. I'd say Josephine Knudsen I was more sure about. I was more sure about this one just because of her style and the way she fights. But it was still a tough fight. I knew it was going to be like striker versus grappler, and that's what it was. The Judice and Fernandes fight is the one I wasn't too sure on, but somebody asked me, who am I going for? I said, yeah, probably Gabrielle. I think Gabrielle, I'm going to give her the experience edge and the urgency edge as far as urgency and power edge because, you know, she's was already 0-2 in the UFC. She's probably like, you know, I got to get this victory. It was close, but, you know, she got the victory. Could argue Carly won the fight, though. It was that close. It was competitive and good. Good fight. Definitely earned fight of the night. Going back to this fight, though, Josephine Knudsen and Julia Polastri. Josephine Knudsen was able to score a unanimous decision. I believe it was 29-28, which is pretty much what I had it. Josephine Knudsen, really good striker, good Thai boxer, good Muay Thai style. She did what I expected her to do, you know, control the range, work on the inside when it called for it. You know, when the clinch came, you know, she would land some good elbows, good knees, get really aggressive in there, and just control the fight from a distance with a lot of nice push kicks that kind of frustrated Polastri. You know, got a lot of good striking in, you know, combinations to, you know, build up a good lead. The only thing that was in question was really her takedown defense, you know, and I think that comes down to her stance and her balance. You know, she's more Muay Thai and she is just pure MMA striker, which I'll make a comparison like to her and Joanna later because, you know, like Joanna made a good transition from Muay Thai to MMA with her balance and her movement where she could still flow with kicks and hurt you or get your respect. And then she would still be able to be in a good position to take you, stop your takedowns, right? But yeah, real quick, looking back at the first round, good push kicks. You know, it was like a jab, you know, just good push kicks from Knudsen, just constantly catching Polastri in the belly. Then landing good combinations over the top, good left hand, right hand combinations whenever Polastri would try to step in. Polastri was like really sleeping in the first couple of minutes. You know, she was just kind of sleeping and fighting behind Knudsen. So I was like, okay, you got to wake up here. You know, you got to wake up. You got to throw some jabs. You got to start timing her. And finally, after eating a lot of combinations and, you know, eating those push kicks to the stomach, falling behind, you know, Polastri finally got her timing down, was able to get on the inside with the clinch and get a good takedown in the round just to kind of change the momentum around. Good takedown. She got the full mount, landed some good shots, did some damage to the right eye on Knudsen, but not enough to win the round. You know, it was only like 20 or 30 seconds where she got full mount and was able to catch up, you know, or just get some confidence going. Second round, again, those push kicks, like a jab, man. There's one point when Knudsen got her right in the stomach with a push kick, and she just had this look like, oh, like she was frustrated. Like either she was mad at her for constantly throwing push kicks, or she was mad at herself for constantly getting caught with them. But I'm like, yo, Pelosi, you gotta step around. You gotta use angle. Stop standing in front of her. You gotta work. Just standing on the outside. So Knudsen just building up this lead. She constantly just building up this lead. But again, finally, it dawns on Pelosi to start working. She starts throwing a little bit more. She starts throwing a few more shots till that opens up another takedown. She gets good body lock, good clinch on Knudsen, tripping and takedown. And I think those takedowns, like I said, they come from Knudsen being a little bit too comfortable on the feet. I think you got to be a little bit more squirmy. You can't be too heavy leg, like too heavy footed, especially against a better grappler. Like Pelosi, much better grappler. And she started getting that timing down, be able to get on the inside and take her down because, again, like Knudsen's too comfortable on the feet. She's too heavy on the feet. She's not nimble. You got to be squirmy like Joanna. Whenever a fighter, starts to dive in, you got to be quick to, sprawl or just quick to move them like Manon does. Whenever they dive in, try to drop that level, got to stuff them and just exit, exit. She seemed to be having trouble with that. When she was put on her back, wasn't squirmy. Like I said, those fighters like Joanna got to get back to your feet. So I think that's going to be Knudsen's big issue. There was like an illegal kick that kind of showed you a little bit of the frustration where she was just using a lot of push kicks and like kicks in the air to kind of kick Pelosi off. So she got like a warning for that. Pelosi, she got a lot of top control in this round. Not a lot of damage though, just a lot of lay and pray. And that's something she needs to work on, more ground and pound, getting comfortable in the guard or just laying there. So I gave that round to Pelosi. I think she edged it out because she did get that takedown and had more ground control time this round than Pelosi than Knudsen landed damaging strikes. All right. The last round, I thought Pelosi did better here, letting go more. She's still getting caught, but she's starting to catch up. She's starting to land her jab a little bit more here, but she's still getting caught with those push kicks and right hands and that left hook of Knudsen still landing. So to me, I thought Knudsen doing much better here, tried to sprawl, but made a mistake. She didn't just exit when she did sprawl. She tried to reverse and get on the back of Pelosi. Pelosi reverses her, and she's back on top of her again, right? So it was a bad choice for Knudsen there. But I believe Knudsen did reverse at one point in one round. I think it was this last round, right? I think it was the second round. Knudsen did make a reversal and did get top position at one point in the third round. So yeah, Knudsen, she used her striking to pretty much win this fight all around. Landed more damaging strikes, volume. I think Pelosi did do a little bit more damage as far as the eye with that ground and pound because Knudsen's eye was bleeding a little bit around the eyelid, so that probably did win it over. On that. Well, I don't say we'll win it over one judge because it was unanimous, but they probably were looking at that as to score high. But yeah, Knudsen, the good thing I'd say, she does stick to her game plan. Good work, good stiff shots. I feel like she could be a little bit more aggressive as far as trying to get fighters out of there and be more dominant, land harder and get that respect. But I know what she's doing. She's just trying to build that lead and fight safe. But if she's going to do that, especially against grapplers, she's got to work on that takedown defense. Like if you're going to be a decision fighter, your takedown defense got to be on point, and you got to put those jabs and kicks together, start really cutting your opponent up like Joanna does. I know not everybody Joanna. I know she's not fully built like Joanna, but you got to be lighter on your feet to stuff takedowns. And I think that's going to be a problem if she moves up. But it can be fixed. It can definitely be fixed. I think she's a smart fighter. And at 8-0, I think now it's time for Knudsen to be tested, maybe against a dangerous puncher / grappler, one that keeps coming, and Vanessa Demopoulos. That'd be a good fight. I know some people might think that's a big push, but Demopoulos, she's unranked. I think the only way you're going to really be able to test her takedown defense and make it better is to take on a fighter like Demopoulos at this point. Because Demopoulos got a lot of heart. She throws some aggressive punches. She's hard to knock out, very dangerous on the ground, and I think that's what Knudsen needs. Another grappler like that, somebody with good ground game that's going to make her perfect her takedown defense. As for Pelostri, nothing to be ashamed of. She just got to work. She just got to be more aggressive in there. She's got to wake up. I know she had some back issues. It's her first fight in. She probably got a little choked up being the first fight in UFC, but she'll be back. She'll be back. Who she fight? Just one of these other ranked fighters. That, let me see, is maybe taking an L recently. I don't think she needs to be rushed in there against somebody right away that's a big threat herself, like no Lomas or anything like that. Maybe like Shauna Bannon, if Shauna Bannon moves back down to 115, or Bruno Brazil. I believe Bruno Brazil's fighting Molly McCann. Maybe, somebody along that caliber, somebody along the lines of that type of fighter, But yeah, that was a good fight. Good test for Knudsen, what she needs to work on. I like what I've seen as far as a stand-up, but yeah, takedown defense really needs to be worked on. Next fight, Gabby Fernandes versus Carly Judice. Gabby gets a split decision over Carly Judice. This definitely was fight of the night. Out of all the fights, I enjoyed this one, and I expected this type of fight, and that's what I told y'all in my live the other day. That's what this fight was going to be as far as outcome. It was going to be explosive. It was going to be a good fight because Gabriela Fernandes doesn't do too well against grapplers. So they said, okay, no more big girls like Jasmine or Teresa Bleda. Let's match her up against somebody that's going to throw work. And that was Carly Judice. Judice, y'all know she came up short against Ernesta Karekai in the contender series, but Dana signed her. He liked what he saw. I like what I saw. She's very aggressive, good chin, good boxing, likes to make a good fight, good stand-up fighter. That's what Gabby needed to make her look good and bring out that dog in her, that grit on the feet. And when it came down to it, man, Carly Judice, she's a bit more gritty in there, man. She was a little bit more gritty. I would say that Carly Judice was more the technical volume shooter here, whereas Gabby more explosive and more power. That was more her style. And if you're going down the stretch, it starts to go more in favor of the volume shooter with more gas in the tank. And that's kind of how it played out for Carly Judice. Now, first round, I did give to Gabby. I thought she landed more power shots. Judice more volume, like I said, explosive shots. They were kind of wobbling Judice, but she was staying in the fight. She continued to land her own shots. I'd say that overhand left and that right hook, they were damaging on Judice. Those were the shots that kind of won her the round, in my opinion. But Judice was landing some good stiff right hands of her own. She was kind of backing Gabby up with good shots. And she was going to the body too. She was going to the body with kicks and jabs. But it was more explosive combinations from Gabby that first round, to me, that won her that one. Second, though, hands flying, man. Second round, hands flying from both. It's really kind of hard to call. Gabby, she's landing the hardest shots, where I think Judice, she's on the back foot, but she's still landing good shots. But then Gabby starts to come on strong with that left hand. She just starts beating Judice up here, and I thought a stoppage was coming. It was like 30, 40 seconds in, and Judice is just getting beat up here with overhand lefts, and she's wobbling back and forth. But shout out to Carly Judice, man. The way this girl recovers, gets back into a fight, it might intimidate some girls, because Gabby started to gas here. Judice, she started to come on stronger in that second half of the fight. So Judice, she goes for that takedown to kind of slow the fight down. She tries to slow it down with that clinch, but Gabby, worked on her takedown defense a little bit. So Judice goes back to that boxing. I like that. She's good landing those shots from the back foot. But Gabby's grappling kind of slowed the fight down, helped her out. And I think that's what kind of helped her edge out the fight. But it was Judice that actually got a takedown in the round. So that's where it kind of got a little shaky. The first round was a little shaky too, I think. Not the first round. It was the third round that really went towards Judice. First round, I'd say, was more Gabby. I'd say that was all Gabby. Second round was close, though. That was close. I know some people said Judice got robbed, but it was close, man. Third round, though, man, Judice, that volume just started going up. That's what I'm saying. This girl got that gas tank. She throws like some heavy, long shots. Like, volume starting to back up Gabby. Good work to the body again, just kind of gassing her out, backing up Gabrielle at this point. She's starting to look tired here. she's landing more single shots at this point. She's just kind of throwing those left and rights, trying to knock Judice out. But Judice is in this fight for the long haul. Gabby stayed in it, though. She stayed in it. She was still landing these hard shots, trying to move Judice, which she was. But overall, Gabby just, I feel like she did more in the first 2 rounds. Judice clearly won the third to me. So, yeah, I had it 29-28. If you had it 29-28 for Carly, I'm not mad at that either. It was a good fight. It was good action from both fighters, good effort. So, yeah, man, I think it earned fight of the night. But as far as threats right now, I don't see either one of them as, well, I won't see them as like threats to the top 15, but I do see them as like really tough girls that will test the newcomers that come in, because girls like Gabby, Carly, Ernesta, Diani Barbosa, they seem really tough. They have good balance. They're really durable. They can take shots, and they keep on fighting. They might gas, but they keep on fighting. They're not really like shaky or fragile like some fighters. Like, there's some fighters right now, I ain't gonna really say, but they just seem a little fragile. Like, they don't have that strong core, that muscular foundation like a Diani Barbosa, like Carly Judice. Like, Carly Judice is like long, but this girl's got muscles. She's ripped. So when I see these flyweights, I still think they're good additions to 125. As far as like technical skills, they still got work to do, but I think they are built for the division, which that's a plus right there, because we need strong girls in this division. Like, as long as they keep making weight and they have no issues with physically strong girls definitely needed in the division, and I definitely see them as that. Both of them are, and like I said, the other two are as well, Diani Barbosa. So yeah, with Gabby getting her first win, it's really hard to say because there's a lot of grappler heavy girls who would be a good fight for her next. I did start to say Montana, but I think Montana might drown her if she gets her down, because Montana has good power shots. Montana's starting to turn it up. If you don't have takedown defense, Montana will get you. So Gabby Fernandes, y'all let me know in the comment section, because I'm trying to keep her away from grapplers. Maybe somebody else that's on a losing streak that she could fight. Maybe Juju. Maybe somebody like Juju, that would be a good fight for her. As for Carly Judice, well, with Gabby getting the win, maybe we give her somebody else that wins the fight. Maybe the winner of Teresa Bleda versus Casey O'Neill at this point. Maybe that fight. It's not a bad fight. Or the winner of Luana Carolina Pudilova. How about that fight? As for Carly Judice, definitely, like I said, nothing to be ashamed for her. She came up short, but she showed a lot of heart in this fight and good boxing. Like I said, just need to tighten up on the defense. Maybe her and Juju, that'd be a good fight. That's the better fight. Her and Juju, they kind of have the same long frame, but I think that Carly's a little bit stronger, maybe hits a little bit harder, but we'll see if her ground game can be tested against Juju Miller if she ever comes back, because I haven't heard anything about her as right now. But y'all let me know in the comment section. Y'all let me know. At some point, I know Carly Judice and Ernesta Karetzkai, they're gonna have that rematch again too. I know they're gonna try to make that happen. But yeah, like I said, overall good fights. They're both good fights, good unranked fights. Like I said, I don't hold these to standards like I do with a championship fight, thinking that they got to go in there and show the best skills. They're still learning. But at the same time, I think they have something. Good strong flyweights. Josephine Knudsen, I think she will make it to top 15 as long as she's working on that takedown defense and that work off her back. We might see her in the top 15 probably by the end of, either by the end of this year or the beginning of 2025. What do y'all think? I might post that as a question. Y'all think Josephine Knudsen cracks top 15 by the end of the year or beginning of next year? We'll see. All right, so PFL was this past Thursday. And once again, if I put money on all these, I would have a perfect streak again. I think most of us do on this one. And I think that's what makes the PFL fights, they're good fighters. Let me say that. These are all good fighters, but the PFL matchmaking is what kind of makes it a little boring for everybody and maybe a little disappointing because everybody's picking the winner. Everybody's able to predict the winner in these fights. We're all able to just go up there and say, okay, yeah, Tyler's got this. Oh yeah, Dakota, yeah, easy work. 10 seconds. Yeah, Liz Carmouche got this. She's fighting the same person again. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it kind of works out with PFL. So that's the one thing that kind of makes this tournament just average. But now that we're down to the elite fighters, we're down to the cream now. It's going to get a little bit better, I think, because this is what we all wanted in the beginning, right? This is what we all wanted. We knew these fighters were going to be here at this point, but we wanted some really good fights. Like in the very beginning, we wanted to see better matchups as well. We wanted to see some tough fights. We wanted to see some fighters tested, but I know it's entertainment, so some fighters need to get pushed faster. Wink, wink, right? So that's what I want to talk about here. Now that we're down to the best of the best here, I want to ask the question, what are Dakota's chances? What are Dakota Ditcheva's chances of winning this thing? And not just Dakota. What are Liz Carmouche's chances of winning this? What are Tyler Santos? What are Tyler Santos' chances of winning this tournament? What are Jenna Bishop's chances of winning this thing? Even though Jenna Bishop, she lost to Tyler Santos, close fight, she's still in it here. She's in the semifinals. They got Dakota fighting another fighter that was on the losing end. I mean, no disrespect to Bishop, because she did her thing, and you could argue she did win, but they got Dakota matched up again, and Jenna, she could come in there and just throw a wrench in that thing and mess this whole game up, and that might be her mindset here, which might put more fuel to the fire for her to say, okay, I got another chance here, right? They came up short against Tyler, and boom, I got this. So it's kind of like I want to look at the chances of all the fighters here, but I am kind of focused on Dakota here, because the more I look at Dakota and just kind of examine her, I feel like she definitely has a good chance of winning this thing. And I'm not jumping on the hype train. Like, first off, I'm not jumping on the hype train, number one. Number two, I like her as a fighter. I've never disliked her as a fighter. I'm more basing my criticism off the matchmaking. The machine that continues to put her in certain situations and don't give her a real test. That's where my beef lies. When I see a fighter just get fed opportunity after opportunity while everybody else has to work, right? Because Tyler had to work. She's partially working because I say partially because she already fought those fighters before, but they were still tough. Juliana Velasquez is still tough. Conor Watanabe tough. Jenna Bishop, she still had to work. So it's not that like I dislike Dakota, because I definitely want to see competition that makes its way over in the UFC, and I definitely want to see the best fighting the best. And that's what brings me to just pushing all other things aside and just, pushing all other, simp talk aside and people just jumping too far ahead. And when I just clearly get to sit down and analyze Dakota and ask that question, what are her chances of winning this thing? And I'm basing that off of performances too. I'm basing that off of Jenna, Liz, and Tyler's performance. I have to say that Dakota has a chance. I'm not going to say she sweeps this thing, or I'm not going to say she has a high chance, but she's got a good chance, And I say that because I'm looking at, number one, I'm looking at how she's approaching this thing. Again, like, she's approaching it as a workaholic. She's definitely a gym rat. She's somebody that goes in there and puts the work in. She's not listening to what people say. Like, people aren't manufacturing her as far as like her skill sets. We're saying, oh, okay, this is what you got to do. Okay, we're gonna make this. That's something you can't do, right? She actually has to put the work in, and the work is shown. Like, physically, it shows. I mean, as far as her body, she's making weight with her frame and her height. She's able to make weight. Her skills, her skills are always polished. What she wants to do in there, she's making sure that she's able to do it. Trying to be the best striker and the best finisher in there. So the mindset is there of her as a champion. As I analyze, going back and looking at these fights, and that is something you rarely see. Sometimes when you're looking at like the unranked fighters or regional fighters, you just see some that just feel like it's a job. They're just coming to work, or they're just glad to put a uniform on. But I think when I see Dakota, like, of course, she's glad to put the uniform on, and she's definitely glad PFL is pushing her. But I still see a part of her that wants to hold on to that legacy, like what her mom does, what her mom was. She wants to kind of carry that over and be that type of legend too. So I see a lot of hard work in her. She's definitely putting in the work. There's work ethic there. She can't help who they're putting her in there with, right? Whoever they put her in there with, I'm sure she'll fight. It's not her fault. She's not picking the opponents. But yeah, when I look at Dakota, work ethic is there, the heart is there, and wanting to be a better fighter is there. All of that's there. And next thing I do have to analyze too is the physique of Dakota Ditcheva. And you know me, like when I see some of these fighters, and I'm studying the build of a bantamweight, strawweight, featherweight, atomweight, or flyweight, I can pinpoint it. But especially with these flyweights, like when I see a certain flyweight with like long reach, like a long, lean build, not necessarily like lanky, but just like long, like whether it's Joanna at strawweight or like Rose at strawweight, I see somebody with a physique and a build in movement here that could be trouble to these other three girls right now. I gotta be honest. It could be trouble to these other three ladies, both, Tyler and Liz, and her opponent in Jenna. So that's something that Jenna Bishop has to be aware of. This girl is long, she's lean, and it's not like flab on her body. She's really long, lean, and muscular. So it's like fighter muscle. It's not like this heavy muscle that's going to be weighing her down, but it's the way her muscles are stretched out that make that power so present in her high head kicks and right hand, And again, when I see her, she's the perfect build for this division, whether it be PFLs or the UFC. Because, I'm looking at girls like Juju, she's got a perfect build for 125. And I know her skills are still need to be caught up, but, she's long, lean, wide shoulders, not too heavy. She just needs to be with the right camp, that can really make her excel with that body. Same with Andrea Lee. Like I said, Andrea Lee, she had the perfect build for 125, not too heavy, long and lean. Just so many other things that kind of held her back. But when you see Dakota Ditcheva, I'm looking at her and I'm like, dang, yeah, I forget. Like sometimes I keep thinking she's 5'6", 5'7". I'm like, damn, 5'8". This girl's huge for flyweight. I was tall and long for flyweight. I'm like looking at the reach of how she's measuring and how she's throwing these long kicks and how she's precise with her shots. Like you don't have to really, you don't. What's the best way to put this? You don't have to be like a former champ like a Dakota to land one of them perfect right hands on a veteran. And that's what I've been thinking about, because I'm like, the way she's lining some of these shots up is the way some fighters stand stationary. They just move straight back. But those shots can be dangerous. They can be dangerous. Now, again, I'm not saying she just goes in there and sweeps everybody, but I'm just saying that right now when I look at her physically, Dakota definitely has the goods to make some noise. It all comes down to what she looks like on the ground, like when her ground game really gets tested. I'm sure, again, behind the scenes, she's working her takedown defense day in, day out. Wrestling's being worked on. Jiu-jitsu's also being worked on. But once you get in there with high-level fighters like Jenna Bishop, who's got, all the accolades, is one of the best at BJJ. And then you got a big, strong Tyler Santos, who's jiu-jitsu's on point. Liz Carmouche, is a patient jiu-jitsu specialist when she's on the ground. Decent wrestler, good reversals, physically strong. When you got all of that, that's where the real tests come in of how good your ground game will be or how good it is, So yeah, those are just things that you really have to think of. But at the same time, Dakota, I believe, yes, she is working on that. So that's where her tests come in. And yeah, I'm not one to hate on her, man. Like I said, I just feel sometimes like, man, like you're kind of holding her back. Like that's the negative here. Like you're kind of holding her back when you don't put her in there with the best fighters. Kind of like with Kayla. Kayla Harrison was in there with nothing but strikers and plotters. That strikers that were flat-footed that she could easily take down and just get out of there. But you saw like there were signs of when she fought Marina Mahatnika, like another solid grappler, sambo artist, man. Like that girl was tough for her. She was a tough deal for her. But eventually, whenever a complete fighter came along that had power, had a good ground game, was well rounded, like Pacheco, Pacheco was able to beat her. It took Pacheco, of course, a couple of fights, but she finally the third fight she got it right. But same thing could happen with Dakota. Like with Dakota just facing the losers of this tournament and not somebody that they could have brought in that was a good, strong wrestler, somebody with good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu credentials, or somebody that was well-rounded fighter that would test her. We won't ever know, So, yeah, when I look at her chances, I definitely think she has good chances because, again, those goods I named, like her work ethic, her heart, she's a finisher. That was another thing I want to say. She fights to finish. Let me put it that way, because you won't be able to finish everybody, but when you fight to finish, that gives you that urgency and that killer instinct, that type of attitude to be dominant in the fight. Because even like when Manon Fiore went over to the UFC, she was finishing a few of the girls, but as the competition gets tough, you still have to have that dominant bone in there, which means you have to be able to adjust and figure out what your opponent's doing and adapt to it, right? So we still need to see if Dakota has that type of IQ. We have to see if she has that IQ. But I think her chances are good if she knows how to use this physique and that precision and that power. Because when I match her up even against Tyler Santos, like, look, based off these performances, Tyler's getting her head snapped back by Jenna Bishop with some straight left hands. She's getting hit with shots like that early in the fight. We got to see how she reacts to that. Like, will Tyler be able to get in and take shots and get the fight to the ground and keep it there for three rounds? Will she be able to wrestle at that long for 3 rounds? Because you see, she started to fade. Jenna came on strong in the third round. That's where Jenna started to thrive more. And Jenna arguably won the third in some people's eyes. So Jenna landed strikes. That's what made that fight interesting. Now, when you're in there with a better striker, somebody that's constantly pumping jabs out, got a long right hand and head kick, and longer and taller than you, because Tyler, I don't know if she's fought anybody bigger than her yet. That taller than her and that long as her. Dakota could be that one. She could be at one to test that chin. And then before that, Jenna Bishop, she has to look out for, a tall, long striker. She was able to wade her way in against a grappler like Tyler, but Jenna has to worry about those knees. She wants to wade her way in, but she's going to have to watch out for knees to the head. She's going to have to develop, like I said, pressure style, where she's protecting her head from the right hand of Dakota and the head kick, where she can get this fight to the ground every round. She's going to have to get it to the ground every round. And I know if Jenna Bishop does get it to the ground every round, she will be in command. She will be in command, I think. Now, if she gets it down, just shoots like a single leg on Dakota, Dakota has an opportunity to maybe hop on balance to get to the cage or sprawl. But like if Jenna is able to just body lock, trip, and take down and get top position, Jenna can work, because Jenna Bishop not just going to lay and pray. Jenna Bishop ground and pounds. So that's where it gets interesting. And then we'll see how calm Dakota is in those situations where, well, she leave an arm free, Jenna Bishop might get an arm bar. Who knows, right? Slide on the back. We don't know. So I think that these grapplers, they do have a chance, but their defense has to be, to get there, their defense has to be solid. It has to be much better than it was in their fight against each other, Tyler and Jenna. Like, they can't take Dakota's punches like that. But yeah, last but not least, Liz. I think if Liz was to beat Tyler Santos, I think if she does that, think she has a good chance against Dakota, but where some of these other fighters were laying back, that's where Dakota's going to thrive. I think Dakota is going to not be as cautious. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't think she'll be as cautious as some of these other fighters, like Alima Lay sitting back. Some of these other fighters sitting back, Juliana Velasquez. But Liz has fought bigger fighters, bigger, taller fighters. She's not that tall. She's wide, but not that tall. But I think Liz Carmouche, if she can take a page out of what she did to Juliana Velasquez, and she's that strong for 3 rounds, she could bag the fight. I think with her patience, and that's the thing. If years in the game, Liz, 40 years old now, she's seen every style. She's faced defeat before. She knows patience too. Like, forget what the crowd's saying. Even if it's a boring fight, like that Lima Lay fight was, she'll stay in it, do what she had got to do. And I think she has those game plans and those tools where she could get that victory by any means necessary, where it be boring, or if it's just like a situation where she got to take her time, pick her shots, and find that takedown, or even just lay and pray on Dakota. I think she has opportunity. So looking here, man, I think, again, Dakota has a good chance. I think if Jenna Bishop is able to get by Dakota, her chances are good. Like, her being the submission artist that she is, and with solid jiu-jitsu, I think Jenna Bishop's chances right now are good. Even if she lost the title, I think her chances are good. Tyler, I'd rate her chances just a little bit higher at this point, since she already got a victory over Jenna. I would say Tyler's are about as good as Dakota. I say that because sometimes I think Tyler just makes wrong choices in there, like IQ. I feel like she overexerts sometimes and doesn't pick her shots. I saw her winging shots in there sometimes against Jenna. She kind of gasses. When it comes down to it, I think Liz has the best chance. I think she's the most experienced here. I think her chances are high. Like, if she go in here and beat Tyler, Dakota's not going to bring anything too new to the table, except for, new energy, new body. She's a younger fighter, but I'd say Liz has a better chance, just with patience and experience. And I got a rep for the 40-year-olds out here. I'm 41, so I'm just playing. It ain't just about that. But yeah, man, Liz Carmouche, I think when it comes down to it, you got to look at her as the fighter that has that experience to go in there and say, I can neutralize whatever she has. But again, before we jump to the next topic, I will say this: look, no hate on Dakota. When I look at her and just analyze and see what she's doing, I see her as a dominant fighter on the regional scene. Now, if she beats one of these 2 fighters, like I said, or she beats, if she goes in there, finishes Jenna, or beats the winner of Liz and Tyler, she is a threat. Okay, I put her on that level, same level I put her on whenever Manon, Aaron, and Tyler were first starting in the UFC. I'll say, okay, now that's a threat to 125. If she beats one of those, a former Bellator champ or former UFC contender, then yes, we'll talk for sure. But her chances are good as long as she stays in the gym working on those next levels. And yeah, she knows what she's working with physically, which apparently she does. She's not going to go to the ground too much right now, and she's going to stick to what's working. I understand, knockouts are what brings the people in, right? So they're going to keep feeding them to her, but she's going to keep doing what she's doing. But again, not jumping on that hype train yet like that. Some of y'all be talking, not yet. I like what I see now. I love a good knockout, so I'm going to watch a good knockout, but she's not the future UFC champion. Not there yet. Contender, maybe. We don't really know yet. Okay, but we'll see. All right. But yeah, speaking of UFC women's flyweight contender, let's talk about a real one that is there. Yeah, I know y'all gonna hate now. We're gonna talk about the Beast. That's right. This is the one. This is the true number 1 contender, right? 7-0 in the UFC. Earned every bit of it. Manon the Beast Fior. We had to talk about it. I know it's been a while. It's only been what? It's almost been 3 months since the Erin Blanchfield fight, but Manon is still on the radar. And as somebody who follows all these fighters, and definitely got to follow the number 1 contender right here, I'm watching what Manon is doing. And as y'all can see, this is a recent photo of Manon Fior. But if you do follow her, you know what she's been doing. Like, she's not doing like a lot of these other fighters, that become just social media advocates, just like to post and twerk and do stuff like that. Now, you go to Manon's page or like Whaley's page, Jan Janon's page, you getting work. All right, you just getting work posted, and Manon is letting it be known. She's letting it be known that she's working for good reason. She knows that there's a possibility that injuries happen, or there could be some disagreements because a certain rubber match, flyweight title rubber match hasn't been made yet. It hasn't been finalized yet, right? So with that not being fully official, or not official, Manon is staying at the ready. Manon Fiore is choosing to stay at the ready. And I'm checking her out on IG. This girl is in there sparring and working. She's almost putting in work right now. Like, she's training for a fight. That's why I was kind of like, rubbing my chin. I was like, Manon knows something that we don't know. Does anybody know out there that knows something I don't know right now? Is low key got this fight now? Because I've been seeing her out here sparring. She's been putting in the work, road work. The working on her balance and everything. She's been working on balance coordination and doing all this work out on the water, and like I said, doing a lot of good boxing drills, like you see here, and putting in some sparring hours. Hopefully, like I said, she's not going too hard, so no injuries happen, but she's just doing a lot of good work now. And just letting you know, like I said, Manon is staying at the ready. And that's what you want to see in a number one contender, especially with the turnaround time that Manon is on right now. Like I said, we're almost going on the third month since the Aaron fight. And like another situation, we don't have the Grasso Shevchenko 3 fight locked in. So we don't really know when her title fight or her title opportunity will come. But until then, you got to stay ready. That's the wise thing for Manon to do. Like, she doesn't have another fight lined up. There's really nobody else to fight right now because Macy Barber's on lock with Rose Namajunas next month. That fight is locked in. So until then, this is what Manon needs to be doing, and I'm glad I see her doing it, because that was one thing I said. Like, if the Barber fight isn't presented to her as an interim fight, she doesn't want it, and I wouldn't want it either. And we all knew that Macy wouldn't want that fight, even though that is the winner of the Manon and Aaron fight, which is a lock as number one, right? But yeah, with that being the number one fight, even then Macy Barber didn't want that one, so they go for Rose, right? They go for the Rose fight. So no other dance partners that make sense for Manon. So in the meantime, what do you got to do? Just got to stay ready. She said she will be a stand-in if Valentina or somehow has to pull out or she's injured. She's ready to fight. But even then, like, if that doesn't happen, this is a perfect time to just get in work, watch Grasso fights and Valentina fights. The same way Grasso was studying Valentina's style, Manon might have double work. But you got to do it. Manon's gonna have to watch Grasso fights. She's gonna have to watch Shevchenko fights, and that's perfect. This gives her a chance to, kind of let her body rest, let her mind reset. Because sometimes fighting over and over, it can get a little bit boring, or you could suffer injuries, and there's a little bit more wear and tear from fights. So, that's the downside. But it's always a good side to get fights for, just dealing with pressure and dealing with the high level, right? High level contact. But with this fight being pushed out, if you want to look at the bright side, it is a time for you to kind of heal and just get in light work and stalk the champion, if you will. Stalk the champions, if you will. Watch their fights over and over and just kind of live and breathe them until you get to the point of just knowing their whole styles and strengths and weaknesses, and you can come up with a game plan for each of them, right? Same way Grasso came with a game plan for Valentina. Manon can do that for either one of them. So this is the time to do that. Just reset the mind. So when she comes back, she'll be like, yeah, I'm a new fighter. I'm ready for him. Being out this long makes me antsy. Get back in there. 2025. I know it sucks hearing it say that, but that's when the fight might actually happen, right? But it's okay, because that doesn't mean she's gonna miss a step. When Carla Esparza defeated Yan Xiaonan, she didn't fight Rose a year later almost. Like Carla Esparza, when she beat Yan Xiaonan, I know Dana wanted her to fight somebody else, but I don't think there was anybody else to fight. She was on a 5-fight win streak. She waited a whole year before she fought Rose. And what happened? She won, right? And that was an ugly, stinking fight, but, she did it. So there's situations like that. Yan Xiaonan, she defeated Jessica Andrade, right? And then fought what? Whaley 11 months later, I believe. Yeah, she knocked out Jessica Andrade in like May of 2022. Then fought Whaley in April of 2023. Yeah, so it was like 11 months. Manon Lemos waited like 8 or 9 months before she fought Whaley. So those turnaround times for the championship fights for number one contenders is kind of normal at that, And I mean, Manon already fought 7. She already won 7 fights to get here. So this little time period in between, it can be a blessing, Again, it's a time just to kind of let your body rest and recover because, last time out when she fought Shevchenko, she had to take almost a year off for the return because she tore a ligament, So here, they can kind of focus and work at their own pace and their own timing and don't have to worry about injuries as long as, she does light sparring and doesn't go too hard, right? But I think that, this is a good thing, just watching and seeing that Manon Fiore is staying at the ready here. All those I think are just good opportunities, good points for her right now, just to reset her mind, kind of heal up, study Grasso Shevchenko, get better on the ground, work on her grappling, work on her own takedowns, work on using her strength like she has been in her past few fights. Because that's another thing I think about Manon. Like, I think her strength is a little underrated. Like, I don't think she uses it enough sometimes. I don't think she bodies these girls enough. I know she's get comfortable with her boxing and her striking, but I would like to see her like throw some of these girls around a little bit more. What she did with Erin, I wanted to see her do that a little bit more when she was in the Rose fight, but she stuck to her striking more in that one. She did body Erin up a little bit, toss her, but another thing, work on her defense, protect the chin because Grasso has heavy hands. Grasso's a heavy hitter. Valentina's got good head kicks. So those are things Manon can work on, tucking that chin and working on her boxing defense, right? So, yeah, that's the update on Manon. Just letting you know, hey, she's staying in there. She's working. So I believe with the training that she's doing now, it's just going to keep her sharp and keep her ready for what could possibly come if Valentina chooses not to fight Grasso a third time yet. But I think she will. And if she does, of course, Manon just needs to stay ready over the next 4 or 5 months. Because if Valentina and Grasso do fight in September, end of the year, that's 3 months later, that'd be December. And I don't think they'll fight yet. I think they'll probably push it out to January, February next year. So, yeah, a whole year from Manon just kind of sitting out. But there's a lot of things to do until then to prepare herself for the champion. But I don't think it'd be wise to take like a Macy Rose winner fight or anything like that, or a Natalia Silva at this point. I think just waiting it out. Like I said, those other former champs, contenders did. Like Carla did, that'll be her best bet at this point, especially at this age, But let me know, guys, what y'all think. Is that her best bet just to kind of sit out and wait? But it seems like it is benefiting her. So, yeah. And again, speaking of Valentina, the Bullets, real quick, I just wanted to jump on this again, man, because I know a lot of people still talking about this because I just watched episode 2, this past Tuesday, and it didn't really hit me or like hit a nerve like it did with some people. But some people were kind of going in about Valentina and her no water policy as far as training. But here, I'm gonna play it real quick on ESPN. Like, All right. So yeah, she said during training we drink no water, none, only before and after. You know, during training, and like you heard that one fighter said, this is new to him. So and I was watching the tough too. I noticed like aside from the water, like her style of training and how they push, it was new to a lot of fighters. Like some of them dudes were crawling. Like Valentina actually has some of these dudes crawling. So yeah, shout out to Valentina for like, showing just how tough she really is. I mean, she just showing like her work ethic and what she was taught and what her regimen is like. And it was something new to these guys too. And like you heard, she said no water during the training, only before and after. Um, yeah, when fighters do drink water, like she says, I believe that, yeah, once you do that, it makes you think of relaxing. Um, it can make you think of being more comfortable. It's almost like I liken it to like putting your hands on your hips. When you put your hands on your hips, you're starting to get tired. You almost kind of feel like, you're letting your body get out of workout mode or running mode. You put your hands on your hips, you start leaning on your knees, leaning forward. You tell some kids that when I'm training, I'm like, take your hands off your hips. Put them to your side or raise them in the air. Stretch. Move them around, but don't think about it. But yeah, my thoughts on Valentina Shevchenko, her no water policy. I can kind of see where she's coming from with it. I don't think it's like to punish or like torture these fighters, but it's to put them in a situation. I'm sure. Look, also water's right there. Water's going to be there for them. I know it can be dangerous, which I'll talk about here in a minute. But I understand where she's coming from. She's trying to put these fighters in a situation where they're not feeling comfortable like they usually do. She wants them to feel like they have to work for it, right? She wants them to take their minds off being comfortable and having certain hungers and desires quenched in the middle of combat. To get better, you can't keep stopping and thinking about, in this situation, water, right? Now, again, we all know you need water, but that's what makes it very important to come in hydrated, right? Because nobody just stops during even like as soon as they start running or like even a few miles in to keep drinking water. No, like you have to, number one, make sure you come in hydrated. And then I'm sure that's what she's expecting them to do. Like if you're going to hit somebody with a policy like that, she's probably saying, okay, since there's no water during training, make sure you are hydrated, because when you are hydrated, you won't have to keep stopping. Because, I do like half marathons now, I do 13-mile runs. Like I come in hydrated. Like, of course, we do full marathons. You will need water. The body's got to have water. You got to have your little backpack. You got to have your water on your side. You got to have that little pouch where you can take sips of water and stay hydrated when you're moving for 26 miles, of course. But I've trained myself, with 13-mile runs, to not drink water. Why? Because I stay hydrated before and after. That's when I get hydrated, and I stay focused. You do really stay focused. Like when you're going, you're not thinking of, oh, I got to keep drinking water. Because sometimes your mind wants something, but your body really doesn't need it at that point. That's with a lot of things that we're trying to, work on in this world, right? Some habits we have, like we sometimes eat just because we want to eat or we think we need to eat, but we're not really like hungry, right? We're just eating because it's there. And I think that's where she's trying to put people, like your body really, she really wants to show how far they can push themselves. Like if you want to be champ, you got to push the limits sometimes, not trying to say you got to go in and kill yourself, but she's probably trying to teach them to kind of test the limits. Like, okay, how many hours can you go without water here? All right, let's go a little further. And I'm sure like if they really start to feel like, and they give her the early sign, she'll be all right. Yeah, go ahead and get some water, But it's the thing you do have to work towards. And I'm sure behind the scenes they can work towards that. Because I've worked with a trainer before, showing me how to box before. We kind of did like this little camel thing where, again, you stay hydrated. I've done it before. You get hydrated, and during rounds of sparring, you just keep working and you do your workout. Don't keep stopping for water, and it works. it'll work as long as you stay hydrated. But if you have certain conditions, yeah, be careful. Like it's not something I would recommend people unless I really know them and I know how they work and I know their attitudes and their ins and outs of their, or if they know the ins and outs of their body and they make me familiar with it. All right. Because I ain't gonna be responsible for nobody dying of heat stroke or heart attack. But I I want people to be upfront. Man, I'm sure I'm hoping they are, you know, with her to say, you know what, I'm not sure about this. I'm gonna need some water at certain times. I just kind of want to work my way into it. But it's a test for them. You know, it's on a show where they can kind of test themselves to do it and just say, okay, this ain't for me. You know, and I know behind the scene they probably going to tell her, but at the same time, since she's a woman, they probably don't want to give in and say, oh, you know, can't. But now you're going to see just how far you can go then. All right. You can see that's how far you can go. But it's not anything that's going to kill a person as long as they are hydrated and they're drinking water on the regular and they stay hydrated. They get all the water they need in their system. They stay hydrated before training. Okay. Now, if you come in dry, you drink a lot of alcohol the night before, that's just, you just have a bad diet. First of all, you probably shouldn't be a fighter if you're drinking that much alcohol during training, but you probably, you probably have trouble. You probably will. So yeah, no water probably wouldn't work for you right away, but it's just, I think it's something you have to kind of work towards. I'm sure that she's just kind of testing it out with them, and behind the scenes, they can probably go back to drinking water like they do during any other training. But yeah, I've done it before, similar, of course, not on this high level, but done it like for an hour and a half, you know, strength and conditioning training and sparring. And I ain't want no water, you know, I ain't want no water. I didn't need it. Make sure I came in hydrated, but along the way, sometimes trainers stop you like, you need water or anything? And I'd be like, nah, let's keep going. Let's just keep going. Okay. But yeah, that's where I see it, because you know I tested out on actual runs again, 13 miles, no water. But you get to 26, yeah, you gonna need it. You will. But what do y'all think? What do y'all think about no water policy? You know, I'm sure it doesn't work for everybody, but in special cases, people like the bullet. Hey, this is how they were raised. This was their culture. This is her culture. Even with how she was pushing them and how they really was going, like you could see it was alien to them. But yeah, that's why she was champion for a reason. Okay, and that's all she knows. And I respect her for bringing in that policy and just her style of training. You don't have to do it, but she's giving you a little piece of what's in her head and what got her to where she was, you know, long range flyweight champion. All right. So yeah, let me know what y'all think about that. But yeah, that's all I got on this one, y'all. I wanted to be up out of here about 45 minutes, but you know how I get to talk and give y'all an hour's worth where y'all can just sit in the chat, talk junk about me, since this ain't live. But yeah, man, that's how I feel about that. Yeah, quick summary, you know, quick wrap up here. Yeah, we had some good fights this past weekend. Be on the lookout for Autumn Norton. Like I said. Good fights this weekend. Good flyweight fights as always. And yeah, again, no hate on Dakota Ditcheva like that. I just want to see her tested. But the more I analyze what she's looking like and what her style is like against fighters that go straight back, her chances look good. Now, I'm not saying they're great. I'm not saying she's won it, but she has a chance. This is MMA, right? Also, Josephine Knudsen, what do y'all think? Can she crack the top 15 by the end of the year? Manon, what do y'all think about Manon's move to a title shot? Does she fight somebody else, or is she just doing the wise thing by staying ready? Let me know, guys. Like always, shout out to everybody in this chat. Hit that subscribe button. And make sure y'all subscribe to the show on these platforms. I need to start updating the site again, which I will. I got to work on it one weekend. I got to get it going again and refreshed where I can start uploading the show there. So like I said, you can hear it. You can listen to it there instead of on YouTube. And if you support it there, that means you're supporting these WMMA fighters, right? That's all I'm asking. It's free to subscribe there. iTunes and Spotify and all those places where you listen to podcasts, right? But yeah, guys, that's all I got in this one. Hit that like, subscribe. I'm up out of here. Again, no fights, no women's fights this weekend, of course, but there is a UFC card. But I'll be back on later this week. Like always, Combo Breaker 99. We'll see if this show stays on Tuesdays at 7:30. All right, I'm out. Peace.